Cheers.
Ding.
Welcome to your first video.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Everyone, everyone.
Hey.
I wanted to make a quick video today, and I say quick, but quick in my terms ends up being 30 minutes every time. So we'll try to make this one actually quick. About an article that I saw on Twitter. It was twittered originally by the Thinking Atheist. You don't have to be an atheist to follow that person.
He's thinking.
Yeah, he's thinking about it.
So if you like people who think.
Yes. The article is on Pink News, which I've never heard of, but it's from the UK, so that's probably why. But it's called Anti-LGBT plus Christian Activist Claims Joe Biden is forming a transgender atheist army. I didn't want to go into this one alone. I sent Elle the article, but then I told her actually not to read it because I thought it'd be better to get your cold reaction.
All right.
When I told you to read it, I hadn't really read it yet, or it hadn't really sat with me yet. And then after a while, I was like, oh my God. And I think you'll see why.
So I want to acknowledge that by even talking about some of these ideas, it has the potential to replicate the harmful ideas in the article. We could potentially be replicating harm by even talking about this. And so I would invite whoever is watching to really decide if you want to watch this, if you are a member of the LGBTQIA+ community, if you are trans, it might not be the video for you to watch because these ideas are out there. But I do think it's important to explain and debunk what's wrong with these kind of arguments so that we can have a clear picture of it and understand and easily take them apart and eliminate the confusion that he's clearly trying to create.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here is like take these horrible, horrible ideas and break them down and poke fun at them, but also really show why they are horrible. And like you said, trying to break down the confusion that he's obviously trying to sow into people's minds. And so, like Elle said, decide whether or not you want to actually like dive into this because there are some really horrible ideas and some potentially triggering and re-traumatizing phrases and words in this. I'm gonna read from this and then we're going to talk about it. I'll put a picture up of this guy's face and you'll see the terror already begins. An anti-LGBT plus Christian activist and former Republican lawmaker has claimed that President-elect Joe Biden is forming a transgender atheist army. What are your first thoughts about this army that's being formed?
This sounds like a fucking awesome army.
I know.
It sounds awesome.
I know. My first thought was like,
This is a movie.
yeah, Joe would be so lucky to to get any trans people that wanted to be a part of his army.
Yeah, like if I could imagine an ideal superhero army, I feel like this would be a top choice.
So this guy, Gordon Klingenschmidt, is a former Navy chaplain who served in the Colorado House of Representatives from 2015 until 2017 and is now a Christian anti-LGBT plus activist and motivational speaker, quote unquote, who goes by the name Dr. Chaps. I want to know why Dr. Chaps, but I also don't care enough to like search and figure out, is it because he wore assless chaps for a while?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Like, where from Gordon Klingenschmidt do you get Dr. Chaps?
I think he's probably repressed
Yeah.
and in denial.
Also, do you think he actually has his doctorate? Because I don't. I think Dr. Chaps is just a stage name.
I mean, I think it's possible,
He has something.
but we could go verify.
Because of his name Klingenschmidt, anytime he talks, I'm going to give him like a really weird German accent.
Awesome.
In a newsletter to his followers, Klingenschmidt warned that Joe Biden was planning to form a transgender atheist army for the Antichrist. Okay, so not only is it a trans army for Joe Biden, but it's also for the Antichrist. Obama was the Antichrist, Biden was the Antichrist, Big Bird, after he got the vaccine, was the Antichrist.
What?
Yeah.
Big Bird was the Antichrist?
No, he's just being currently canceled by the Republicans because he was like, my wing hurts, but I'm protecting myself.
Are you freaking kidding?
Him and Bert and Ernie are both banned from CPAC.
Do they know that they're fake characters? They're not real.
I
They're fiction.
Ask Ted Cruz. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Yes.
All right, so it gets better.
It does.
It continues to get better. This sounds like an awesome army. And yeah, I support Joe's initiative.
Where can I sign?
Yes.
I also feel like this is probably giving the Antichrist ideas. You know? Like, the Antichrist is probably chilling right now, like, oh, yeah! Trans people! In the newsletter, he referenced Biden's victory speech in which he thanked gay, straight, and transgender Americans for their support, his promise to reverse Donald Trump's trans military ban, and other commitments to protection the LGBT plus community. Who wrote this? And other commitments to protection.
That's a bad sentence.
Yeah, and other commitments to protect the LGBTQ2IA plus community.
This is lowering.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it in the... Oh, it sure is.
It's in the frame now.
Block that off. Okay. I don't know why the article shortens it to just LGBT plus. But for those who don't know, the full acronym now is LGBTQ2IA+, but I'm just going to read the article as it's written. Let's keep going. And here we have our first Klingenschmidt talking, so let's see. But Klingenschmidt insisted that Biden was out to transgenderize the military and punish Christian troops, writing, "Female soldiers and students will be forced to share common showers and room with cross-dressing men and boys with male anatomy within hours of Biden's inoculation." Part of why I wanted to do the voices because I feel so bad reading these words.
It feels so Christian, where he's like, the Christian troops, like it's like Royal Rangers. Like, this is what he imagines the military to be.
The absolute, like, unwillingness to look at what trans issues actually are and just being like, you're forcing people with wrong anatomy. Like, this is maybe a bigger topic than what we can get into in this video, but there's no such thing as male anatomy. There is because we've created it. But in terms of, like, evolution and bodies, anatomy is not male or female.
Yeah.
We assign those words.
Even like communication aside, just better for control and order. All of these terms are terms that are meant to control who's allowed to do what and who's not allowed to do what. And there's absolutely no reason for us to tie gender to genitalia at all.
Yeah.
Like, why do we decide that genitalia is the thing that distinguishes somebody's gender? Like, it could literally be absolutely any other quality, any body part, any quality of a human. Like, there's no reason for there to be an innate connection there, in addition to the fact that genitalia exists on a spectrum. Everybody looks different.
Yeah.
There are no clear lines.
Yeah.
Even if you tried to break it down into gender essentialism, which is where you tie it to anatomy, right, is like, you can't, there is no gender essentialism. You cannot. Right. It's a spectrum. It's just these fake ideas that people created that he's perpetuating and using these antiquated terms that are deeply harmful.
Like cross-dressing men or boys. Like that is just a clear disrespect. Like I think he's just trying to be disrespectful.
I just cannot. I feel like we need to like bleep those words out of
I know. I keep thinking I should probably bleep a lot of this, and it gets worse. Something that struck me was like we think of anatomy as like the binary, the two things, and this is what one looks like and this is what the other looks like, when in reality there is that spectrum that you mentioned, where everybody looks so different and nothing is just boom boom. And that's the same with like the chemistry inside of us too. The testosterone and the estrogen and everything else that goes into making a person is so varied from person to person that not one equals male, not one equals female, and it's super frustrating that people don't want to see that.
Yeah, just pick one thing to decide what somebody's identity is for them.
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense, and it's, a complete boundary violation of a person's autonomy to determine who they are.
Yep. So let's keep going. He added, Christian troops who object to sharing co-ed showers and bunks with opposite gender anatomy will be vilified as discriminators and punished, demoted, discharged, and court-martialed. Mark my words, the devil wants an atheist army for the Antichrist soon.
If you're a bigot, you should be educated about your bigotry so that you can no longer be a bigot. That's not vilifying somebody. That is removing harmful people from other people who have the potential to be harmed by them.
Him saying the devil wants an atheist army for the Antichrist makes no sense to me. Like, atheists also exist on a spectrum, so how someone describes their atheism can differ. But atheists in general don't believe in the devil. So why would the devil want atheists For the Antichrist, it seems more like the devil would want somebody who's like more on the devil's page. Who's like, I'm with you, devil. like, let's go against Jesus and God. There's most likely not an atheist who's gonna be like, I sign up for the devil's army.
They would just be like, who are you? Like,
yeah.
I don't, where's my pizza?
Yeah.
And obviously just trying to demonize the people who are making the laws, because it's easier when you use like a whole idea that we hate. Supposedly the devil is like bad. It's so easy just to lump it all into like, oh, clearly this is really, really scary.
Exactly. Like he's just purposely tying the words devil, atheist, and antichrist into the same like formation to make it be like the devil equals atheist equals antichrist. The more they hear that over and over, they're going to be like, oh, atheist, you're the devil. You're going to be with the Antichrist army. Christian activist Gordon Klingenschmidt is known for making bizarre and hateful comments about LGBT plus people. Yeah, that's like the most obvious statement.
We already know.
He recently claimed that the Equality Act, which would protect LGBT plus people from discrimination, would provide protections for those who commit incest, necrophilia, pedophilia, and zoophilia. It's the slippery slope argument where it's like once you give people the right to love the people that they want to love, people are gonna start having sex with corpses and claiming like pedophilia rights. I don't know how many words I can say. and also bestiality and like having sex with your siblings. And it's just like the correlation is not there.
It's incredibly delusional. Which makes sense, because if you're delusional enough to believe that the devil wants an atheist army, like that's just delusion.
Yeah.
Of course, you would naturally slip into other delusions.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want more about that, you can see my 10 reasons why conspiracy theorists are uber Christian. In 2015, when the Boy Scouts National Executive Board lifted a ban on gay scout leaders, Klingenschmidt said they should be drowned. He said they should be drowned. What kind of medieval bullshit is this?
I feel like you just put all these people in a room. Klingenschmidt, the Boy Scouts, their delusions, and it's just like, I would not want to be at that party.
If you think that someone should be murdered for their stance on an issue, maybe you should just like not participate in that thing anymore. Just be like, okay, I don't like the Boy Scouts anymore. Not be like, you should drown the leaders. Speaking on his YouTube show, Pray in Jesus' Name, he said, if your boy is in one of those organizations, you need to get out of there, because what they're doing is to promote homosexual men to mentor and camping with your boys in the woods, and it will lead to child abuse.
There's this implication of LGBT plus, using the language of the article, being associated with deviance, and so all deviance and all
and abuse
and like all, and it's so harmful. We're just getting a little window into Klingenschmidt. What's this guy's name?
Klingenschmidt, Dr. Chaps.
Mind. Like, I feel like I'm seeing his mind. This is his inner world. This is where he lives.
It's a
these thoughts.
It's a cesspool wasteland.
It's a cesspool wasteland of horror, and I don't like it.
And it gets worse.
What?
He added, and I don't know how many bleeps I'm gonna need for this sentence, he added that it would be better for, quote, these gay child molesters to be tossed into the sea and drowned than to be allowed to cause child to sin.
So many layers.
And if it sounds like I'm messing up the grammar of this, I'm just reading.
It's really terrible.
It's just really bad. Not that the grammar is the worst part of this fucking article. In 2018, he claimed that Sesame Street writer Mark Saltzman, who said he thought of Bert and Ernie as gay, was trying to, quote, recruit the children of heterosexual couples. Mark Saltzman, by projecting his sexuality upon beloved children's puppets, he is actually trying to recruit children into his perverse lifestyle so that he can eventually recruit them to become what he is. His idea here is that Mark Saltzman, the creator of Sesame Street, came out and said that Bert and Ernie are gay because he wants the children of heterosexual couples to become gay, right? Yes, okay. Yes. Because Bert and Ernie are gay. So he keeps going, homosexuals because they don't have their own children. Homosexuals, because they don't have their own children, they have to recruit the children of heterosexual couples in order to continue and propagate their own population of available sex partners. Can you imagine?
Help.
I guess we're not talking about adoption in this article. And I guess we're not talking about like sperm banks and like you can have your own kids. Anyway, I don't want to, but I need to break this down because it's important to understand what he's saying here. And he continues to use the word homosexual, which just feels so weird coming from this person. Because they don't have their own children, they want to recruit the children of heterosexual couples so that they can have more gay people to eventually have sex with. That is one of the weirdest fucking takes I've ever heard.
It's so twisted. I don't like spending time in this dark man's brain. And you see this in so many areas. I think you maybe talk about it in that other video too. The implication is that there's some like agenda from the left or some agenda from gay people from the LGBTQ plus community to like recruit and indoctrinate and force people to be a certain way. And that is only done by Christians of this variety.
Yes.
Of course they think that that's happening because that's what they're doing.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. Gay people don't care if you're gay or not. We don't care. We do not care. I don't know if it gets worse from here, but it definitely stays at the same level. So he goes on to say, they are perverting and recruiting children by making these false allegations, and that is a demonic spirit inside of you, Mark Saltzman, who is targeting children for your own pleasure. So Mark made Bert and Ernie gay for his own pleasure.
That's what you are doing, Klingenschmidt. I feel like he's just projecting his entire inner landscape onto everybody else. His own like twisted way of viewing the world has found a home for him inside of this lifestyle that he doesn't understand and doesn't accept.
And I also get, I can't prove this, I don't know this for sure, but I think you mentioned this earlier, I get like heavy repression vibes from people who are this mean, from people who are this like overt about their hate. Nobody's choosing to be gay. That's like another part of this. Nobody's like, I'm gonna be gay now because Bert and Ernie are gay. That's not how sexuality works. And then tying that to demonic spirits and evilness and fucking the devil and all of that just makes it so othering and so harmful because you don't choose to be those things. That is just who people are.
Just suggesting at all that somebody who is gay has a demonic spirit inside of them and that's why they're gay. I think anybody who's been raised in that kind of religion, as you talk to, and I see so many other like evangelicals talking to, it gets in there, the suggestion, it goes really deep and it stays with you for years and it's really harmful because you are demonizing yourself and who you are as evil and bad and terrible, and that's the complete opposite of what's true.
It undermines a person trusting themselves. And like there is this idea in this like hyper Christian world that you can be used by the devil without really knowing it. Yeah. So if you believe in that shit like I did, and you're sitting there and you're like, is a demon possessing me? There's always this question of like, am I doing the right thing? And if somebody tells you you're being possessed by a demon or a demonic spirit has entered you, which is why you're gay, it makes sense then that you'd be like, please God, get rid of my gayness. And please get rid of this demon. And it makes you hate yourself. And there are so many stories of people hating themselves and repressing themselves. Maybe sometime I'll get into my story. I don't know. But we'll see.
It creates such like cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Because Christianity creates these absolute truths. There's no questioning. You're not allowed to question whether this is true. So you have to believe in demons. Yeah. Like you have to believe in the Christian truth, but you have your own known truth of yourself and who you are and your sexuality and the way you want to express yourself in the world. And those are at literal odds, but it's entirely a construct created by this bullshit.
Yeah.
And it creates massive cognitive dissonance. And in order to resolve it, you have to decide that you're, like just what you said, either that I am evil and there's a demon inside of me, so God, please make me not gay anymore. Mm-hmm. In order to resolve the cognitive dissonance, like you collapse who you are.
Yeah.
In order to fix that, instead of being like, this is a bullshit idea.
Yeah.
Clearly I'm not possessed by a demon.
This might be another one. I'm not sure how much I need to bleep here, but he has also claimed that gay people should not serve in the military because they were, quote, taking breaks on the combat field to change diapers, all because their treacherous sin causes them to lose control of their bowels.
This has entirely to do with Klingenschmidt's inner world of repressed desires.
Oh.
I'm not going to shame him for his desires.
Right.
You know, but like stop projecting them onto other people. This is 100% false. You do you, Klingenschmidt. You go. I can give you some references for people to talk to for that. Like, you know?
He also said that LGBT plus people want the right to have sex in Christians' houses and that Caitlyn Jenner is possessed by demons. We already touched on the demon thing, so we'll just leave that for the bullshit that it is. But what gay person wants to have sex in a Christian's home? Nobody's trying to do that.
Nobody's trying to do that. I want to like Jungian psychoanalyze all this because I'm getting like penetration vibes. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
This is his fear.
Oh, yeah,
This is like his fear, his like desire to be penetrated. I'm not going to shame this guy, you know? But he can have whatever desires he has.
I hope Klingenschmidt sees this and sees you saying that he wants this. Like, I just don't even understand who they want the right to have sex in Christians' houses. I don't think a gay person has ever said, I want equal rights so that I can have sex in a Christian's home.
This is not even something that you can legislate.
No.
You don't give rights related to people's personal property and who can enter and not enter. That is not something that the government would ever legislate.
No.
It's fear-mongering and it's ridiculous and
yeah.
I don't even want to waste any more breath on it.
Good. And that's the end.
Oh my gosh.
So that is Dr. Chaps and his wonderful, I'm not even going to be tongue-in-cheek, and his horrible takes on the LGBTQ2IA plus community and his fear-mongering. So, do you have any last thoughts about any of this?
This is a land that I have never played in, is finding the inner world of these deeply repressed, twisted humans. I don't want to play in this realm of reality anymore and hear anything else this man ever has to say, unless it's to raise awareness about horrible things so that we can take him down.
Well, like we found out, he has that YouTube show, Pray in Jesus' Name, so we might need to do a part 2 on this.
Okay, yeah, totally.
So, Elle, thank you so much for joining me, and...
I don't know if I'll be coming back.
Sorry that this is your first, but evangelical rags, you never know what's gonna happen in here.
Oh, this is a horrible party.
Yes.
I had a horrible time.
Now you know why I didn't want to go into this alone, so thank you for joining me. Elle is my partner, and... life person. Do you want to plug yourself where people can find you online?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. It's Cosmic Unicorn Academy. I'm a personal development coach, so I work with humans who have been through traumas or dark periods of their life, transitions of major importance to help them rediscover, rekindle, and find their most magical, thriving selves on the other side and live amazing lives that are fully embodied.
So if you feel like that or a unicorn, you can find Elle online. I'll put her stuff in the description below along with my social medias, and if you liked this video and want to support me further in my work, you can find me on Patreon. Please consider becoming a patron. Also, because of the nature of this video, I am going to link to some trans rights activists, some trans rights organizations where everybody can donate. I will be donating because, like we said at the beginning of this, in making this video, we could also be adding to the landscape of like harmful things that are being spread. So while the purpose of the video is to break all of that down, I will also be donating and be putting that up there for people to give. So thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me, except not. Also, yes.
We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.